purchase low-cost used clothes.
Right.
So
now, where's the main office or the clothing store, these things located at?
Okay. Again, our primary services are from McCurry County all the way out towards Prestonsburg and Louisa.
Right.
So in this listening area,
Okay.
Our main hub is in Rockcastle County in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And that's where we right now have our food pantry, clothing store. Whitley, Knox County is where Dana serves for domestic violence community advocate. But we also have advocates in Bell and Harlan County,
good.
in Laurel and Jackson, Rockcastle. The entire Cumberland River ad is served by the Family Life Abuse Center.
Wonderful.
So,
let's talk about substance abuse. Now, you all got a program for that as well.
yes.
Now, how can people that are in desperate need of this program, how can they get help?
Our substance abuse recovery program is in Rockcastle County.
Okay.
It's a 6-month long-term recovery program for women.
Right.
Right? And we partner with Operation Unite, Congressman Hal Rogers' program.
Very good.
We get referrals from them, as well as the court systems all over Kentucky. Our participants come from many, many different regions.
Very good.
But it's a small program. We're only able to house 12 women at this time.
12
but it's a wonderful program. Again, it's comprehensive in nature, gets at the roots of the issues. It's called Therapeutic Community. The women hold themselves accountable,
Right.
become responsible to get through their addiction.
So it's an in-house program.
Oh yes, residential.
Very good. Now, Dana, let me ask you this question, about the counseling services. Now, do you counsel people or do you talk with people?
I talk to people in court prior to the court hearings.
Right.
They can also call the shelter and talk to an advocate or call one of the advocates directly, and we can meet one-on-one with anyone that wants to talk, even if they're not going through the court system.
Very good.
If they just have questions about domestic violence, if they want resources, numbers of how different places can help with different things. Obviously, we want to encourage them to work on a safety plan. So we talk about safety planning. We let them know that the shelter is available. And one of the neat things about shelter life is a lot of people have a misconception that if you go to shelter, there may be cots lined up on the wall, and it's just a different place.
Right.
But our shelter is really unique. It's a home, and we really, really strive to make it a home.
Well, one thing that's on my mind and heart, substance abuse leads to domestic violence and other things like that. How can somebody get help if they're not willing to help themselves? Like if it's a family member, a cousin, an aunt, or somebody like that, and they got a problem, how can we help them?
Really, it is up to the individual to want to change and to want to seek help. And we do see that a lot of times substance abuse and domestic violence do go hand in hand.
Right.
The main thing is just to get the phone numbers and get the resources out there so that family members have access to it.
Right.
So that when that person is ready to make a change, that resource is available. And we know
Very
that,
good.
especially in domestic violence situations, a woman may leave and return to her abuser 7 to
Right.
10 times
Oh, yeah.
before they actually make a permanent break.
And do you find a lot of times that the females are scared to report it or scared to try to get help, thinking that it causes more trouble?
Definitely. They've may have been told by their abuser that, if you report me,
Right.
it's going to be worse, or they've threatened to take their children away from them. Sometimes, it's just, a lot of times people have a fear of law enforcement.
Right.
Because of the unknown, or they think, well, I may get in trouble if I call 911. So there's a lot of fear and a lot of questions that people have.
Right. There's so many different types of abuse as well. A lot of times the mental strain on people that's a lot harder than it is the physical.
Exactly. And I've actually had some women tell me that, the physical abuse is not as bad
Right.
as the mental abuse, because they know that eventually the physical abuse will be over.
Right.
But the mental and the verbal and the emotional abuse continues on and on and on. And those are things that type of abuse is hard to get help within the legal system.
Right.
Because it's really hard to show, hard to prove. You can't, you can see a bruise, but you can't see a broken heart.
Well, now, Michael, what would you say if there's somebody listening that has been going through abuse all their life and afraid to get that help? What would you say to them? That you're there for them and you want to help them.
Yeah, all I can say is to the loved ones of that person is accept them
Right.
where they are, love them where they are, until, as Dana said, until they're ready.
Right.
And you can't help them until they are ready.
You know, in the type of work that you're all doing, it takes such a caring heart, and that you want to help people, and that you're reaching out to people every day. I mean, you guys are out doing many different things, and I just compliment your work, and so thankful that you guys are out there trying to make the difference. You know,
Well, thank you.
there's so many people that need these services, whether it be the abuse, whether it be, homeless. A lot of people could just use some good food. There are many aspects around even our community, and I say this quite often, but I'm going to say it again. If we're blessed to have everything going so good for us, we need to look around at the unfortunate people who don't.